so many high gas, high value units, and you can really just crank it up from there. It makes things difficult for the Zerg.
All right, guys, well, the loading screen is up and going, so we're about to move back into this. Both our players getting ready. Stephano just loading back into that. Both players look ready. We can see them there. MarineKing with his hoodie up. Looks so adorable. Just want to pinch his cheeks. Him and Leonok, actually. Both of them. Pinch their cheeks. All right, so Stephano looking intense, and he has loaded in. So here we go, guys. And at the 12 o'clock position on Atlanta Spaceship, we have our red Terran player, representative of the Team Prime. He is MarineKing. And over there at the 9 o'clock position on the map, the Pink Power Ranger himself from the Team Millennium, our defending IPL champion, it is Stephano. All right, so we're back into things now. We'll see what both these players decide to do. MarineKing, of course, started with a supply depot right next to his mineral line, if we remember, in the last game. Didn't wall in at first, but put that in as the reactored Hellions came out later.
So things flip-flopped here in terms of locations. But once again, yeah, drops that supply depot right by the command center. We'll have to see where he puts his barracks. Opting for racks very close to the CC last time, and then relocating it to a position where he could drop an add-on and ultimately fully wall off.
Yeah, we'll see if that ends up being the same thing here as, once again, good luck, have fun is being thrown out by our players now. And MarineKing going to build that barracks inside of his base once again. No wall going down at all. Eventually be able to transition over to that in a bit, though, once he gets up that expansion and gas, if he decides to go down the no gas route once again.
Really still don't understand what the positioning of the barracks is for, particularly. I mean, as Terran, it's so important everywhere you place every building. Thought just goes into it, period. So I just wish I knew what he was thinking. I don't know why. It's just
because he does eventually reposition it later on, or at least he did in the first game.
Yeah, he did. But things so far are just identical to the previous game. Neither player really making any drastic change or altering anything just yet.
Well, looks like Stephano opened with a 15 hatch once again. 16 pool coming out after that. MarineKing, on the other hand, is once again going after a gasless fast expand. You'll have that 400 minerals here in just a bit. And so, as of yet, all things the same as we saw last game.
Now, where does MarineKing follow up from here? Command center on the low ground. There we go. So, same thing. Now, is he going to grab the double gases immediately? That's the next step here. There we go. Gas number 1 and gas number 2 go down like clockwork. So, you know, we might just see the exact same build from MarineKing. I mean,
we are, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe he just had this build planned out so well on this map, and that's just his bread and butter here on Atlanta Spaceship.
All right,
He's going with that.
Yeah, it looks like it is because he's once again walling that in after the fact. His opponent will be able to get a drone in there eventually, of course, but MarineKing is just going to go ahead and go with his strategy. The double gases are now finished up, and he is starting to mine from that now. His opponent, on the other hand, Stephano, producing those 2 queens, and nothing looks terribly different for him either. If he pulls off at 100 gas exactly once again, doesn't even leave 1 drone in there, it looks like we may be headed down for a repeat.
Indeed. Now, Stephano did grab a relatively early third in the last game. We'll have to see if he does that again. He could contour his build in a way if he senses that mech might be coming again or gets a decent scout. You know, he might change things around a little bit. And here we have the first reactor coming down for MKP. He's also got that factory coming, so probably going to kick out a few Hellions here. Now, he did get a very early second factory last time around. Very early. Let's see if he does that again.
And there it is, it being built in the same position once again. So we'll swap the first one onto the reactor, build the barracks, or move the barracks back where the first factory is at, and put a tech lab on there and be able to move into some upgrades or mech play very early on in this game. And Stephano, on the other hand, everything looks pretty similar out of him as well. He's got that defensive spine crawler up at the front, just droning to his heart's content, and may produce a few defensive roaches a little bit later on in this game.
And he used his defensive roaches so well in the last game. I really just love how Stephano was throwing 4 roaches at a time at him, even though he had 16. It's so much more intelligent to send 4 roaches out because then it gives the Terran player the illusion that he can actually kill them, but he's going to end up losing 3 or 4 Hellions for every roach that he kills. So I like how Stephano was just kind of baiting him in there and killed all of his Hellions really without taking any drone harass.
And once again, Blue Flame Hellions coming right up now. So 3 Hellions being produced at a time. He'll be able to push with those in just a bit. The first 2 are making their way out now. And Stephano going with a pretty early Baneling Nest once again. And we'll see how aggressive he wants to get off of this. Of course, the defensive Spinecrawler doing its work. He's not extended the creep spread out all that far. So no creep tumors really to kill. And MarineKing is content with sitting those Hellions outside of his opponent's natural.
Yeah, the creep spread for Stephano, not nearly as good this game. He did have that extra queen just pooping out creep tumors and slowly extending his way out last game, using all of his energy this time around on larval injects, and he does have 10 lings and 7 roaches on the way right now.
Oh, that's a ton of roaches that are popping out right now. The first 5 have made their way out. 12 more lings after that. We'll see if he does a round of drones similar to what he did last game, or if he's just going to continue to flood in units after this. Our first tank is coming out now for MarineKing, but he can't start siege mode, of course, as Blue Flame is still not finished, but MarineKing still feeling confident enough to put down a 3rd command center right now.
Oh no, MarineKing could be in a lot of trouble here. We have a all-in coming out of Stephano. 16 more Zerglings are joining the pursuit here. He's marching cross-map. He cannot allow those Blue Flame Hellions to get in touch with those Zerglings. He needs to protect the Zerglings for this all-in, but no bunker for MarineKing.
Well,
no bunker.
The Zerglings have ran on by. We'll see how much damage they take. Very nice shot by Stephano to run off to the side, trying to trap these in with the roaches. He will push them back just a little bit, as a few units are going to pick away at those Hellions. Once again, our first 6 Banelings are making their way out, but look at this. Stephano just producing unit after unit, running it across the map for now. 12 more lings about to pop out right now.
Stephano runs into the natural, pulls back instinctively. Oh, it's wide open. I'll come in there and take out all your SCVs. Here come the Banelings up the front door. Take out all the supply depots and the reactor. That is huge.
Yeah,
this is going to be so hard to hold off.
Picking off that reactor so smart, and he's going to grab a couple of tanks here as well. The first one goes down. Stephano doing quite a bit of damage. MarineKing down to 51 supply. More units continuing to stream in right now. The tank does go down, not able to be repaired up in time.
What a well-orchestrated attack here from Stephano. Blue Flame has finished now, so these lings aren't nearly as effective as they once were. The Hellions can clean them up. How much damage has been done? Is it enough? Stephano, 37 harvesters, 27 for MarineKing. MarineKing needs to find a way to stabilize. His tank pops out just in the nick of time to help out with these roaches. Can he take out the roaches? Lings coming from behind for the potential surround on the siege tank. He might be able to flank the tank, and he does.
Yeah, the Hellions are not being repaired quick enough, so we'll see if these lings can be enough to kill, and they will. The tank is going to go down. There are a bunch of Hellions still out. They're being repaired up by the SCVs as well, but once again, more lost mining time, more workers going down. Stephano pulling a huge advantage, now up double the supply of his opponent.
How is MarineKing going to recover from this? His saving grace right now, and yes, can he hold on here? Siege mode is done. He's sieging at the top of the ramp, but he might have to concede his natural. There's no way for him to take this territory back right now. He's essentially lost all his SCVs there. He is morphing an orbital at the 3rd, so he will have 3 orbital commands. Is that enough to catch up, though?
Look how patiently Stephano was playing as well, just making sure that those roaches weren't in tank range for so long, staying down at the bottom of the ramp and just picking off supply depot after supply depot. Looks like MarineKing has a little bit of mining going on at the 3rd as well, but he's well back in workers. His opponent has a macro hatch and layer tech on the way, +1 for ground units as well.
Yeah, and you know, Stephano right now is just playing very well. That was a really good read, and I love the way he sort of hid the all-in with the roaches, sent the first phase of roaches, kept the lings in between, and here we go. Finally, MKP will be able to clean this up and reclaim control over his natural.
Trying to get the last supply depot, but he won't do it. The roach is going to die. Now MarineKing has retaken his space, but he's at a 50 supply deficit. Will he be able to recover? Stephano producing 11 roaches right now, though, so we may have a big follow-up attack in a bit.
It looks like Stephano is just going to try and straight up end the game here. Is he going to have enough roaches? You know, this could be... Well, look at the supplies right now, 120 to 58 for MKP. MKP needs to make something happen.
He spots the roaches, though, as we just saw in the vision there. He did go behind the Zelnaga tower, spotted the roaches. He's trying to make his way down with some Hellions to the bottom right-hand corner. MarineKing already pulling his tanks back inside of his main so he can set up a defensive position. He's trying to attack down here at the 3rd, but the roaches and Spinecrawler are going to be too much.
Stephano had already preemptively moved his Lings and Roaches down to the third there, and I don't think that he caught wind of those Hellions at any point. I mean, MKP has had control over the middle Zelnaga. He tried not to run into those. Oh, and the Roaches are going to be able to sneak into the back of the Natural here. This could be absolutely devastating.
And Stephano still has not seen the 30 at Link so close. He may suspect that it's going to be there in a bit as he's running up with more units now, but the Roaches are starting to pick away at the Natural. Tank sieging up inside of the Natural as well, starting to deal out its splash damage, and it looks like these Roaches are eventually going to go down, but some Lings may be able to sneak into the main. No, actually picking up the tanks on the high ground isn't going to be enough. No, the 2 tanks actually survive, and MarineKing is just holding on barely as he tries to come back in this game, but he is falling yet farther and farther behind.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing here is that he can certainly afford to lose these Roaches. They are absolutely expendable right now. He's on 3 base. He's pretty heavily saturated. He's up to 69 drones.
And there we have a hatchery being constructed outside of MarineKing's third. Looks like he tried to do that twice. Once on the high ground there, and there was a stop put to that. But look at this. The armory's getting shut down. Upgrades going away. And Stephano's looking really good, man.
Yeah, he's looking super solid right now. I don't know if there's a way for MKP to recover. He's got to try, though. Here come the Lynx going for the surround on the remaining Hellions. Roach is taking out the siege tanks over at the Natural. Meanwhile, at the third, Stephano is pretty much taking everything out there. All the SCVs going down, all the mules going down, and this is just a disaster.
Yeah, they're finally going to be able to work their way back over the siege tank line, and unfortunately, the Lynx will go down, dealing a little bit of splash damage to MarineKing's own SCVs, of course, but still not going to be enough, as we do have, let's see here, 137 supply to 46 at the moment. Harvesters, 69 to 25. Stephano with a crushing advantage.
Yeah, he certainly does have the advantage in every way, shape, and form. Continuing the all-in going here, just Roaches and Lings streaming in from the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah.
And he is going to attempt to perform the finishing blow here in just a bit.
And let's see, he's picking up his units inside of the Overlord's going to drop over the tanks inside of the main here in just a second. Both the hatcheries, I might add, did just finish up outside of MarineKing's base, so he's got that going for him as well. Start a little bit of forward production.
Oh, he sees the Overlords coming in. He scouts them out with the Hellions now.
But what can he do?
I don't think that there's anything he really can do. MKP just doesn't have enough units, and he's spread so far thin that, you know, how can he combat this? Trying
to make a couple of Thors right now, and I don't know if that alone is going to be enough. And the siege tank's already under fire. A couple of those going to fall right away. There's the GG. Stephano has taken game number 1 in this best of 3.
Yes, he has, and with a very risky strategy. I mean,
looks so